Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a celebrity psychic reading on Teresa Giudice. I believe I pronounced her last name correctly. If I didn't, I apologize in advance. Psychic reading on her and her husband Joe, and what I see for the both of them. This has been a reading that has been requested by a lot of my viewers over the last couple of months, and so this is something that I really don't know anything about Teresa. I know that she was on the Real Housewives show, on one of the shows, and that her husband is originally from Italy, but came when he was very young to the United States. So she is like a reality TV star. She has a degree in fashion, I believe, or she studied fashion. And for him, he has been in construction. And so just give me a little bit of backstory before I get into the insight of what is going on here. There has been questions about whether Joe is going to go back to whether he's going to be deported back to Italy, because that's what a judge ruled. Because you have until, even though his parents brought him to America at a very young age, he had until the age of 21 to apply for citizenship. If his parents would, if he would have gotten, I believe, something like automatically granted citizenship. But after the age of 21, if you didn't apply for it, or your parents didn't, you have to apply for it. And so whatever the situation is, a judge ordered, after he finishes serving his sentence, which I believe it ends in 2019, that he will be deported straight to Italy, being that he is, in a relationship with Teresa and they have kids here. That's going to be a question that I will be answering within, giving that insight within this psychic reading. But I want to talk a little bit about them together. Teresa's a very strong woman. Life has not been the kindest for her. And yes, they both have made poor decisions and mistakes. Who hasn't? I'm not defending what they did. But, we are no one to blame. We all have our own faults. No one is perfect listening to this. We all have our flaws. I do feel like she has been, she has beat herself up in many ways, saying, how could she have resorted to this? And she's been judged, I think, by a lot of her colleagues and people in her family for her decisions. And it's something that, that really has affected her mentally, emotionally, psychologically. I do feel like she's kind of angry at the world in many ways, and kind of angry with the cards that she's been dealt. But again, we are all held accountable for our own decisions and our, mistakes that we make here in the physical world. But for her, I get that, ultimately that she is sorry. She does come across as someone who is sorry for what she's done. I don't feel like, she's someone that is cold and emotionless. When it comes down to it, she is the mama bear of her family, and she is very much going to always be there for her family, and loyalty is a big thing for her. With Joe, I feel like he's also a hard worker. I do feel like, when he did work, now he's incarcerated, but when he was working, he did, his job, and I do feel like he was well respected by his family. But, again, poor decisions, and now they are facing a lot of debt, a lot of financial debt that they eventually have to pay back. So, the question here is that, what is going on with him? I do feel like, being that he's in prison now, this is not a good situation for the family. It's created a lot of stress. I feel like the daughters have been targeted, whether by their own friends or people, in school. It's a very hard situation because, again, the decisions of the parents, the choices that they make, does affect the children in many ways, and it kind of creates a certain level of fear. So above, Teresa could care less what people think outside of her, her relationship and her children. What really matters to her, what I get from Spirit, is, her own family and her children, and she doesn't want to live knowing that, they hate her, or, her daughters would hate her, or that, there's this inability to forgive her or hold it against her for the rest of her life, because I feel like that's something that she's going to continue to do herself, to her own self, for the rest of the life of her life. There's that, that emotional thing. I feel like she's fallen into depression. She may have self-medicated, going into that, and turned to that alcohol. She's gone through everything that you can think of. The way that I can describe it is like going through hell and coming back. And now she's trying to rebuild her life, but it's not easy knowing that you owe a lot of money, and there's debt still to be paid. And knowing that your husband could be deported. That's the question that a lot of people are asking. So I feel like, she is she's been given a new lease on life. Her career is far from over, even though, yes, it was very scandalous, and yes, she was in prison. Well, Martha Stewart also served, some time as well. And look where she's at now. There's a lot of people that have served and they come out and they bounce back. So I feel like she's definitely going to have some more work in TV. She is going to look into, in the future, once they would, pay off that debt, to, look into other options, career options, maybe opening up a business again. It's very up in the air. She's not scared of what she's done. I think now she's more aware that, she can't, ever allow that to happen again financially for her. But there is a lot of fear. This is not a good way to live, knowing that all this is happening and not having her husband there with her. It does create a lot of pressure on the relationship and stress on the kids themselves. But what I'm being shown is that she has there's right now it's a period of, if we go into 2019 and he gets, he finishes serving his term. There's a lot up in the air, a lot of judgment. There's going to be more headlines and scandals. I feel like there's people that have it out for Teresa and Joe, and the scandals and the legal issues are far from over. I feel like there will be some other things that surface up, and pettiness. There's just a lot of pettiness, and I do get that she would be thinking. But somehow, I don't know why this is coming in like this, but I feel like there is money, though, that there is someone that has money that's either helping Teresa or she has money hidden. There's something about money there. And I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like, they would be struggling as bad as people think or perceive it to be. So there is money that Spirit is talking about. And again, only her family would know this. But I do get that there is money, and I also am getting from Spirit that she is looking, I don't know if she's, already had a relationship with someone else, but I get another male offering her some kind of relationship, and he feels like he's younger, possibly could be Italian, he could be Caucasian. But I get he has dark hair, he's light skinned, and I just feel like there's somebody else that maybe has proposition. I'm not saying that she's being unloyal to her husband, to Joe, but I get that there is something there of a younger man with her and communication with him. So she has two decisions when it comes to all of this, and I feel like there's some money involved again with this as well, with this male energy. But again, I feel like with her home, where it comes to her home in 2019, eventually she is going to separate from Joe, whether he is deported, and I'll get to that in a minute, or he stays here. There is going to be a lot of things will never be the same after this. After he gets out, things are never going to be the same. And I think this is something that they have both realized and come to the realization that things are never going to be the same in their marriage. And there's going to always be this vendetta, or this kind of grievance, and this what's the best word I can use here? Emotions that she carries, against Joe. I don't feel like she blames him 100%, because she did have some fault in it herself. But I feel like in many cases, that she's just not happy that all of this went down. And I do feel like, there is another male, like I said, that is coming in, and I feel like Joe himself is going to have to fight, even after he gets out, to stay here in the United States. Do I feel like he has a chance of staying here in the United States than being deported? I feel like yes. There's a strong chance that the attorney or the lawyers could find a way to keep him here, primarily because he has family. He has children. But again, this is something that is going to be, whether or not it happens, it's up in the air. But what I get from Spirit, And if I'm wrong, that's fine too, because like I said, I'm not God. I don't know everything 100%. These predictions or these insights that are future wise, I can only give them, what Spirit allows me to see. So I'm not going to sit here and kind of, even if it's validated that I'm right, and be shoving it in everyone's face, because that's not why I do these readings. It's to create, insight and awareness that spirituality, it does exist. But I'm getting from Spirit that there is a strong way that that is going to be appealed, and that he will be granted citizenship, or at least some kind of temporary stay until he can apply and, get all that sorted out. Because again, he is being tried here as an American citizen, so it kind of doesn't make sense that if he is illegal here, according to this, that why is he serving sentence here in the United States and not in Italy? Why not transfer him over there? Again, the laws are way different over there. So again, these are things that I feel like that are more technical, and I'm not going to get into the legal aspects of it. But I did take a year of legal business, legal business in college. But again, I feel like there is going to be an appeal, and there is going to be something in his favor to stay here with Teresa, because again, this is he's been here forever. I mean, he's been here for how long? How many years? And he doesn't know the language over there. I don't feel like he speaks Italian fluently. He may know some words. I feel like he doesn't know a lot about the custom of that country, even though that he is a native to that. He was born in Italy. So again, it's very conflicting, but I do get that there's money, and if not already coming in, there is someone else. And going back to that younger Mel I just got from Spirit, that is her twin flame. Joe is her soulmate, but that other guy that would be interested in her is a twin flame. Whether or not, but there is a certain level of backstab, and I feel like Joe's the one that feels backstabbed. There's rumors like he already has confronted Teresa about this. I feel about, her, having an affair or not being loyal to him while he is in prison. But again, I get that there is going to be some changes, and there is going to be the unexpected happening, which I feel like he is going to be okay. Joe's going to be okay. But, things, I feel like his health has been very much deteriorated. I feel like there are some cardiovascular issues with him. He does need to watch his heart, and in particular in his cholesterol, because again, I feel like there's a history of that in his family among the men. And if he's not careful, it could lead to heart disease or heart attack in the future. So again, this is something to just watch and be mindful of. And I feel like, he's going to get back in shape once he's out. It's just that, there's a lot of depression, post PTSD that he's going to be dealing with after getting out. And also, like I said, the legal battles are far from over. I feel like there's people that are out to get Teresa and Joe, and they just are very negative and dark energies that are out there to get them. So they do need to have a certain level of spiritual protection and a high faith in their, the religion or their spirituality, and be very rooted, because there are some trying times ahead. But I do feel like, for the most part, that her daughters are giving her support as well. They do love their mom and dad, and they do understand everything. This has made them a much more mature, and grown up a little bit more sooner than they would have, normally have grown up. Because again, this is just something that, you would never want to wish or see anyone in your family go through prison or go through these charges. So again, I feel like they've both learned. They're both trying to get clean, and they're both trying their best to, keep their family together. That's the whole thing. But again, there's going to be some issues, and I feel eventually Teresa is going to part ways with Joe, and he's going to eventually, find someone else. But they will always, come back together and be good, like good friends, or be amicable with each other. But I feel like for Teresa, she's loyal, but at the same time, I feel like she's just kind of tired of all of it. She's tired of all of it. And I do feel like if he's not careful when he comes out, he could again get dragged into these bad habits that he had, or tendencies that are you know, that could elicit illegal activity or, you know, things like that. So again, there's this level of caution that he, you know, if he's given a second chance, like Spirits is saying, to stay here in the United States, and he is free from his sentence, you know, after that, you know, he has to be very careful with who he associates with, what he's doing, especially having, you know, friendships that, people that may be in certain things that are not good. But that is what I'm getting from Spirit. I want to thank all of you that are tuning in to my channel. If there's anyone that you would like for me to do a celebrity psychic reading in, please comment please comment in the comment section below. If you would like to set up a private reading, I am offering a 10% discount until December 31st, 2018 on my website. Just use promo code HOLIDAYS. That's capital H and then lowercase OLIDAYS. And upon checkout, and you'll get 10% off. And also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Psychic Medium Ray. And if you haven't already entered, you can go to the community tab. I do have a giveaway right now for 2 psychic readings for 2 lucky people on YouTube, 2 followers. You must be subscribed to my channel to enter, and then you need to comment in the comment section of that post with your favorite Christmas memory. If you've already done those 2 things, then you already are entered into the contest. But if you haven't done either one, you know, to be considered, you have to be subscribed, and you also have to comment in the comment section below. So and then those of you that have asked about Tea with Spirit, that is going to be coming out this week as well, probably by the weekend, right before Christmas. It's a special. And again, the show will resume, Tea with Spirit show will resume here on my YouTube channel sometime in early February. And I'll have more details as we get into the new year. So again, biggest hugs, angel hugs to all of you. Blessings and love and light. And again, thank you for your never-ending support.